Tonight on Sports Saturday, the Hogs were looking for a Woo Pig upset in the natural state. Could the Tide wash up their hopes and dreams?
Because that means I'm smarter than everybody.
We're live in Fayetteville with a full report. Plus, the showdown in Cowtown. Would it be Auburn or Mississippi State remaining in the land of the unbeaten?
Your best is good enough. There is no plan B.
Yeah! All right. Thanks, Coach. So come in from the rain. Come on, guys. Stop fighting. We're head over heels. Okay, get a hold of yourself because we start right now.
Alabama. Live sports. From Alabama's sports team. This is WVUA Sports.
It's a gloomy night in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Lee Smith is about to join us live. It is cold and damp, but there is a little warmth here in Tuscaloosa despite the weather because it was an ugly game, but Alabama got the win. Welcome in, everybody, to Sports Saturday. I'm BJ Millican. A wild game in Fayetteville for sure. We'll get to Lee in just a second, but first, let's check out the highlights. A lot of them lowlights in this one tonight. Bama comes in ranked 7th in the country. They haven't lost to Arkansas since '06, but the theme continues in 2014. Mistakes. Alabama forces a 3-and-out, but Christian Jones thinks the ball hit his teammate. Instead, Arkansas ball. They were trying to score for the first time against the Tide since 11, but not so fast. Cody Walker fumbles out of the back of the end zone. Bama's offense stalled. Another mishandled Bama punt later, and the ball is like a greased pig. Ryan Anderson picks up the Allen Collins fumble. This time, the Tide finally gets on the board in the second quarter. Blake Sims finds T.J. Yeldon, 22 yards, stretches, touchdown. Bama up 7-0. But the Hogs hang in there. Jonathan Williams going to make history right here. Arkansas's first points against Bama since 2011. Big time. They'd missed the extra points. That is very important. Second half, Arkansas takes the lead. A.J. Derby takes the pass, 54 yards down the sideline from Brandon Allen. Arkansas goes ahead, but Bama holds the running game in check. Passes hurt them, but the Tide comes right back. Huge drive. Fourth quarter, Blake Sims finds DeAndrew White, 6 yards. Bama up 14-13. Hogs, one last shot across the field. Guess what? Landon Collins, the big interception, and Alabama survives 14-13 in Fayetteville. Blake Sims with 2 touchdowns through the air. Lots of mistakes again for Bama, but check out the defense. They stepped up big time. Only allowed 89 rushing yards to Arkansas. They were averaging, coming into this game, 316 on the ground. Now let's head to the scene of the crime, and tonight it was a little bit of a crime against football. Sloppy game, but everything feels better when you win. Lee Smith is standing by with comments from the head coach. Lee?
Hey, BJ, that's right. They have turned out the lights here in Razorback Stadium, but the Razorbacks, they couldn't close out the lights on the Tide tonight. They lose 14-13, and here are a couple telling numbers for Alabama. They had 100 less yards on 26 less plays, just 66 rushing yards. When's the last time you've seen that happen? And Arkansas actually dominated the time of possession. They had 10 more minutes with the ball, and Alabama was just a poor 4 of 15 on third down conversions. But you know what? They got the W. And nevertheless, Nick Saban was a happy camper at his post-game press conference.
We had a lot more energy and enthusiasm out there today than we did last week. That's what won the game. We played a lot harder in this game than we did, I think, and we competed well in the game. And the players really wanted to win the game. And I was proud of that. I never saw that spark. You know, we played at Ole Miss more like a team, in my opinion, that was almost trying, when we were ahead, we were playing too much like a team that was trying to keep from getting beat, rather than being aggressive and, you know, going out there and making plays and doing the things you have to do to win the game. And our guys went out there today and played aggressive at the end and made some third down stops that were huge. And that was the difference in the game.
And one more impressive note, guys. Nick Saban is just the third coach at Alabama to have won 100 games at the capstone. Of course, joining Frank Thomas and the ever-amazing Paul Bear Bryant. Well, that's it. Reporting live in Fayetteville, I'm Lee Smith, WVUA Sports. Back to you, BJ.
Thanks, Lee. Much more from him coming up in just a minute. And much more Sports Saturday coming up. We're going to dive headfirst into the day in the SEC, the state, and the nation. Lots of college football. But next, we're going to head right back to Lee Smith, who's going to discuss mistakes. Bama keeps making them. Nick Saban is going to talk about them. The players are going to say how they overcame them. That's on the way. Sports Saturday, live from Tuscaloosa and Arkansas, rolls on WVUA right after this. We're back with our play of the day. Brendan Douglas got to play a little today because Todd Gurley's out for Georgia. And whoa! Play he did. Up, and away for Brendan. Look at him. The flip and basically sticks the landing. More highlights from that game in just a minute. It's time now to head back to Arkansas. That's where we find Lee Smith. Lee, another game filled with mistakes for Alabama, but this time, on the positive note, a win.
Hey, that's right, BJ. Alabama moves to 5-1 on the season tonight. They narrowly escaped with a 14-13 win over the Razorbacks. And for the players, well, you know, they were happy they got the win, but they also had a lot of mistakes. They had 2 fumbles in the first half. Christian Jones had a fumble with a punt return, and also Cyrus Jones. So they need to clean up that a little bit. But on the positive, safety Landon Collins came up with a big play in the fourth quarter, and he says the defense finally knows how to be clutch instead of last week where they gave up some fourth quarter touchdowns.
It's great. I mean, it shows what our defense could do. You know, they say is that we're going to fight until the clock is 0, and that's what we did, and that's a fantastic win for us.
No doubt. When you win these close games like that, you see all the hard work payoff that you put in for this kind of games. You know, these 110s we run over in the summer, all that extra hard work we put in, and that showed up tonight. We were the tougher team at the end, and that's why we won.
I think my leadership was much better. Let the team know that, hey, I'm here for y'all. If y'all, whatever y'all do, mistakes, I'm behind y'all no matter what. I'm not going to lose no faith. If you down, look at me. I'm going to smile at you, and, hey, hopefully that pick you up, and we're going to play next play.
And the defense will have another shot to prove just how good they are next week when Texas A&M rolls in to T-Town. And, of course, that game is going to be huge for the SEC standings and for the Tide to continue their momentum for the season. Well, that's it. Reporting live in Fayetteville, I'm Lee Smith, WVUA Sports. Back to you, BJ.
That's absolutely right. A big day in the SEC. Thank you very much, Lee. You know, last week the college football world was centered on Mississippi. This week, no different. A top 5 matchup for the first time in Mississippi State history. Gus Malzahn and the Auburn Tigers were trying to spoil all the fun. Early on, not happening. Nick Marshall's first pass picked off by Jay Hughes. State is in business. Dak Prescott holding steady in the pocket. Finds Birmingham's Darunya Wilson. Bear fight. He gets in the end zone. State jumped out to a 21-zip lead, led 28-13 in the second half, but here comes Nick Marshall and Auburn. He finds Duke Williams 15 yards, Auburn within 8, but they would get no closer. Josh Robinson with the final dagger. Hail State wins 38-23. So Dan Mullen, is this the #1 team in the country?
I don't have a vote, so I guess I'm not there to say, right? But I'll tell you what, I love my players. And if you did give me a vote, I would have voted them #1 6 weeks ago. That's how much I love my players, you know? And, I wouldn't trade our team for anybody else out there in the country.
There you go. Dan is happy. Both quarterbacks came into this one with a lot of hype. They both made mistakes, but it was Dak Prescott who had the last laugh today. 3 total touchdowns, 367 yards of total offense. State expected to be ranked #1 in at least one poll by many of the media tomorrow. Hey, no Todd Gurley today for Georgia against Missouri. You saw Brendan Douglas earlier. What about Hudson Mason? He can run too. Look at Huddy. Run, Huddy. 11 yards. Dogs pouring it on. Mason is not just a mobile quarterback. 9 yards. Nice play right here to Michael Bennett. Nice throw. Nice catch. They've got another nice running back. Nice dance. Nick Chubb is another great running back for the Bulldogs. He does it all today. 143 yards. This 9-yard score. Georgia blanks Mizzou 34-0. Here's a look at the SEC scoreboard. Kentucky, big wins for Tennessee and Kentucky. The Wildcats 5-1 for only the second time since 1984. Vanderbilt with a struggle against Charleston Southern. They do hold on. Ole Miss shutting out A&M. And LSU and Florida went to the wire in this one, but LSU pulls out a 30-24 or 27 win. Bill Clark and the UAB Blazers trying to pick up their 4th win against North Texas. This helps. Playing defense. Harris gassed in the strip. Big Jontavius Morris. Rumble, Jontavius. Come on down, big man. 40 yards. 3 defensive touchdowns on the day for the green and gold. Later, the offense getting it cranked up. Cody Clemens to Madricus Humphrey, Bobby's son, one of them. UAB wins in impressive fashion today, 56-21. West Alabama hosting Florida Tech, and Kyle Caldwell, we know he likes to run, but not today. He finds Chad Tuchek, 34 yards, Tuchek, touchdown. Coach is in a happy mood, dancing. Later, Caldwell's going to hit Darryl Collins out of Gadsden City, 23-yard touchdown, Tigers. But Tech, guess what? Bad news for Alabama, West Alabama. They lose 33-32. Florida Tech comes back and wins. Here's the local scoreboard. Great day for most in-state teams. Stillman beats Benedict on the road. Troy finally gets a win the week that Larry Blakeney announces his retirement. Miles, Jack State, North Alabama also wins as well. Now, coming up next on Sports Saturday, a look at some major national matchups, some very important for the Tide. It's next on Sports Saturday, so don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Saturday. A really good slate of games in college football today. One of them in Dallas, the annual showdown at the Texas State Fair. Let's head right to it. The Red River rivalry, Texas and Oklahoma, the Longhorns on the board first, but the old ensuing kickoff. Alex Ross takes it 91 yards the other way. You run all that way, it's going to earn you a beating at the hands of your teammates. A late comeback attempt was thwarted. Oklahoma does win the game 31-26. The most entertaining game of the day, TCU Baylor. TCU up 2 touchdowns. Bryce Petty picked off. Marcus Mallett laying the hammer to the Bears. The Horned Frogs up 21. Ball game over, right? Wrong. Look at the score now. Baylor only down 7 with 4 minutes to go. Petty finds Corey Coleman, touchdown. We're tied. Now Baylor has a shot to win this one. Chris Callahan finishes the comeback. 28 unanswered points to win, 61-58. One more quick game before we go. Oregon trying to bounce back after their loss facing UCLA. They did it. Marcus Mariota finds the corner here. Touchdown Ducks. 4 total touchdowns for Mariota. They win the game. Jim Mora is not going to like Mariota doing that. That's all the time we have for tonight. Good night, everybody.